Good afternoon, everyone here in Adelaide. For those of you in Estonia, tere hommikust ja tere tulemast Adelaide Cyber Collaboration Centre. I forget how to say it now in Estonian. It's a very difficult language to speak, but I do enjoy speaking. It's my pleasure to be here and to welcome our guests from Estonia. Now, we've been running a study tour program between the University of Adelaide and the Italian University of Technology since 2015, and wonderfully, after 3 years of a break, we have now managed to reach a point where we could open up our borders again, and the next thing you know, we have 10 Estonian visitors, a mixture of master's students, PhD students, some of my colleagues who are doing their PhD whilst teaching in the department as well, here in Adelaide. And I think that it's a testament to the strength of that collaboration that we set up from 2015, that we've managed to not just survive the COVID hiatus, but actually thrive through it. I am, in addition to being, for the purpose of disclosure, I am with the University of Adelaide full-time. I'm then plus 20% at the Italian University of Technology and Digital Forensic Sciences. Because I'm not busy enough, I'm now the Consultant Director, A Director and CTO of Digital Forensic Sciences Australia, along with my, where is he? There he is there, right? So along with Damien. And because I'm clearly not busy enough, the Estonian government asked me to represent them here as the Honorary Consul. So for most of today, I'm going to be wearing my consular badge, but I may be wearing my Adelaide University or Taltech badge at different times. So, at a glance, Estonia, population of 1.3 million. In fact, if you were to place Tallinn, the capital, over Adelaide and just pop the map over the top, the island of Saaremaa would appear approximately where Kangaroo Island is, and we would be covering the lower southeast of South Australia, with a slightly lower population, similar industries of timber, defence, etc., in a different mix. So we're sort of compatible. It's a very strange country for me to be in, because I land and suddenly I feel like I'm at home. I don't know what it is. It's probably being an introverted computer programmer means that I feel like I belong in that society. It's great, fantastic. So, northeastern Europe, 45,000 square kilometres. We're 104 years old as a country since 1918. Of course, there was a hiatus, so we redeclared independence back in 1992, 91. Yes, better get that right, hadn't I? We are a member of the European Union, we're a member of NATO, World Trade Organization, the OECD, and so on. So we are very much focused towards the West. So, 2015 to 2023 now, we have been coming to Estonia, and the reason that this occurred is because my good friend Olaf Menel, professor at the Tallinn University of Technology, invited me over in 2014, along with Nick Faulkner, and I was blown away by the opportunity for students to see a digital country, so where government is run digitally. Until recently, the only things you couldn't do online was marry, divorce, and buy property. Even those, you can now do most of the paperwork online, and it's just that final stage for each of those three things. Everything else is digital, and you go, well, so what? We can do that now too. They've been doing it for a lot longer than us. So I want to talk a little bit about that in a moment. The collaboration that we have is that in their summer, in June, we go over and we spend a week doing something exciting in the cyberspace. And then in January, they come over to us and we do lots of researchy things, which it's serious fun, right? And we spend a bit of time really engaging in the research process. So as two universities, we're not like for like. This is not a seriously well-established research university that we're working with at Taltech. It is a forward-facing, operational university dealing with real cybersecurity issues on the front line with our neighbour to the east. Whereas so that experience we can immerse our students into, right? It's not a research-focused university, but it has that aspiration. So we, as the University of Adelaide, different hat, you see, right, gives us an opportunity then to really lift that capability. Things are slightly complicated because my good friend Professor Olaf Menel actually starts at the University of Adelaide next week. He's come back again, so we partly reinforces our need to coordinate and collaborate. It does cause a little bit of friction with Taltech at the moment, but our view very much is that Adelaide University is really there to support our partnership. So that for us is very, very important and a serious commitment for us. I just thought I'd show you what our boot camp looks like. This is the 2018 boot camp at the Estonian Maritime Academy, which Crystal Torm is going to speak about in a moment, but this is how we used it in 2018.
This is an event that TTU has organized in collaboration with Cambridge University. Here at the Maritime Academy, there are 4 simulators that simulate real ships. We have teams running those ships and then in the final event attacking each other.
At the moment, keep working on the cyber attacks that you've got going.
We need to have a plan.
Tango Foxtrot Charlie.
Yes,
this is Alpha 4, RP over.
There are rules, there are boundaries, but we're free to do whatever we want in those boundaries.
Northwest into commercial shipping channel to the position of
They're correcting their heading now, apparently.
I feel that everybody here found something interesting for themselves. This is a great experience.
A couple of the students in the audience were all set to come with us in 2020 before, of course, we didn't. But we're looking forward to coming back, and of course 2023 we are indeed back with the Estonian Maritime Academy looking at cybersecurity challenges in the marine environment, which Crystal will talk about a little in a moment. Now, my next little slide here, this is the Song Festival ground in Tallinn, and I'm just going to mention for a moment, every 5 years we run a song festival with a choir of over 30,000 voices and an audience of over 120,000 people. That's 10% of the nation's population come along to sing. This is bigger than the AFL Grand Final, both in absolute terms and in proportion. So that's our priority, and it's interesting because in fact, singing and the so-called singing revolution was how Estonia, Latvia and Lithuania really asserted their independence and started the independence movement that led to the Declaration of Independence in 1991. And of course, Australia was one of the very first countries to recognise that newly independent country. Fascinating story. Part of what we do with our study tour with the students is we do take them, for example, to the television tower in Tallinn, which turned out not only to be built for the 1980 Moscow Olympics, but it's the site of one of the last stands against the Soviet army, tanks at the gates, engineers told that they had to leave and saying, that's okay, let me just go inside again so that I can shut down the equipment, barricading themselves in and continuing to transmit pro-Estonian independence material to the country until the Soviet army literally turned around and left. Now, wouldn't that be nice in the current environment? So, digital government was one of the key areas that fascinated me, and I wanted the students to see it, not because I want Australia to copy what Estonia does, but I want our Australian students to see what they do, to understand why they do it, to be inspired and to question how we could do things better in Australia with digital government. And I've already seen the needle shift in the last 5 or 6 years with our commitment, first of all, on trust. So one of the things that Estonia built right from the get-go in their program was, how do we get citizens to trust? After decades of Soviet occupation, the idea of we are not the owners of your data, we are not the exploiters of your data, we, the government, genuinely need to know things about you, so we will be responsible and transparent custodians of your data. That's quite a profound insight, because if you then build your information system around that concept, right, you can actually build trust. So this is a country where there is a very high, strangely high level of trust in government, and most government services are delivered online, which is extraordinary, and have been for a long time. Second point is we have both decentralisation and interconnectivity. So you don't create a single point of failure, but you do have a unified system that is built around an identity card, and that identity card is both your physical identity card, it's the one card you carry with you, but it's also your digital identity card. So I hold what's called an e-residency card, so it's not a personal identity document, but it is a set of keys that allow me to securely log into the digital government portal, but also my bank, the university, sign contracts, etc. through that process. And that card is very, very widely taken up. It is trusted. So, which is just extraordinary. Try doing that in Australia with the Australia card, right? It's an entirely different story, but that's because time and effort was taken to actually think through that process. So these are the things that fascinate me, and these are the things that I want my students to see when we take them to Estonia and when they come here. And one of the key other purposes of this collaboration is to build an international network of friends and collaborators that can really get along well and work together and understand as a team, as a multidisciplinary international team, how to work together in cybersecurity. So there's been a lot of lessons learned, and what's really pleasing is that when we do engage with various digital government agencies in Australia, I should point out I stole these slides from our ambassador, so it's I'll say Kirsty, that we are now seeing some of those lessons at least partially implemented. We'll get there, I hope, one day here in Australia. We have an exciting agenda for the next year in Australia as Estonia. So in addition to the boot camp that we're running at the moment, Australia now has a delegate at the Cooperative Cyber Defence Centre of Excellence in Estonia, so that connection is now being established. In August, we have the Cyber Battle Australia, which is being run by CTF Tech, an Estonian company who's run Cyber Battle Nordics and Cyber Battle Estonia. So their next one is going to be Cyber Battle Australia. There will be a boot camp here in June for students to participate, ages 15 to 24. Now, everything's written here in Estonian, but I thought I'd just show you the promo video from last year's Cyber Battle Estonia to see what that's like, because we're trying to make a CTF high impact and the ambassador calls it sexy. I'm not sure it's the word I'd use, but it's still going to be lots of fun. So this, for young ethical hackers, is a big deal because it kind of looks like The Voice, right? Except that you're still hacking. So we're trying to make this accessible and high impact. I don't know who will get as our guests band to come along and play for us, but who knows. But that's just part of what we have in store, and we have a number of other things in the pipeline that we haven't quite worked out. Well, we haven't quite finalised and ready to announce just yet, but it's a very, very exciting program. And so that's my introduction as to where I've come from, why I'm here. We will be talking on the panel later about some of the opportunities for Australian industry to engage with Estonia. And of course, as Honorary Consul, I'm very happy to make those introductions and be the bridge for you. But that's all I have to say. Thank you, Matt.